It's okay. All right, we're at 12:15. How's everyone doing today?
We're doing.
Good. All right. So, okay. So, and hello to everybody who's watching. I don't know where the camera is exactly. It's somewhere over there. Oh, here they are. Okay. Hi. Okay. So today we're live streaming on Facebook, and this is also going to be recorded to Ascension's Facebook page. No, I'm sorry, YouTube channel and Facebook page. And this is the first time that we're doing a live stream and or recording of this class. So I'm going to be presenting some of the key ideas, a third or fourth time. But I mean, it's also, it's taken me years to get some of the subtleties of this stuff. So maybe that's just me. Maybe you're all, But if anybody has questions on this, just feel free to let me know, as always. So my name is Lydon, and I'm a meditation teacher, and basically I do therapy-informed coaching, which is more or less the same thing as therapy, except the focus is helping people resolve life problems. I don't diagnose people per se, but I help, basically my special area is helping spiritually oriented adults resolve trauma. And I'm certified in a few different methods, but basically what I do is I use body-focused meditation to help people feel safe in their own skin and to feel like they can flourish in their relationships, and to help them find and contact a very subtle but palpable, what we could call ground of their being, a ground of being. And what that feels like is the deepest sense of being that we can feel into ourselves. And it's something that feels fundamentally safe and at ease, and also what we really are. And the spiritual traditions have many names for this, but basically this ground of our being feels fundamentally safe. It feels like a foundation that we can just rest into, that all of our faculties, our senses, our emotions, our physical sensations, our life energies, that this foundation, this palpable sense of a ground of our being, allows all of these aspects of ourselves to just come to rest, right? And it feels like it's like encountering the deepest sense of acceptance, perhaps, that you've ever known. The experience of it is something like that. But even if we don't experience exactly that today, we can start to experience tastes little by little, glimpses, tastes, the texture of that field or space or ground that is our true self or our true nature, okay? And that, the mystical and contemplative traditions of the world will, they talk about this fundamental dimension of consciousness, or what I use interchangeably with ground of being. They talk about this as the source of inner peace, the source of unconditional love, the source of, our sense of authenticity, our authentic self. And so that's what this meditation practice, which is called the realization process, that I'm going to be teaching today, is helping us. It helps us to do. Although we haven't really done much discussion of, trauma per se here. One of the methods that I also work in is something called coherence therapy. And basically, I guess you could say that, the two things that I do professionally, one is helping people feel safe in their own skin and helping them contact the ground of their own being. The second thing is helping them uncover beliefs or self-limiting patterns that they have that hold them in a space of suffering, that hold them askew from this ground, that hold them askew from their authentic self, and that hinder their relationships. And so that's another thing that I specialize in as a practitioner. So, but for today, for today's purposes, and by the way, if anybody wants to get in touch with me outside of this class, you can do so by emailing michael@realizationconsulting.com. That's my email address. Without further delay, let's go ahead and just start by bringing our attention to our breath. We're going to do a little intro exercise, and then we're going to just start by making contact with ourselves internally by making contact with our breath and bringing our focus to our breath. Okay. Okay. Just noticing your breath coming in and out. Good. Okay. All right. So I'm going to invite everybody to notice as you make contact with your breath, as you have your eyes closed, that there's actually space that you take up, that the internal space of your body has a depth to it. Just to feel your inner body sensations. Good. Okay. All right. So, just to calibrate everybody a bit, I'm going to invite you to start by becoming aware of your hands. The sensations in your hands, textures that you feel around your hands, temperature, just being aware of your hands. Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to invite you to notice what it's like to actually come into your hands. To feel like you actually live in the internal space of your hands and what that's like. Okay. Yeah. So you might notice a shift between being aware of your hands, where it's as if we're looking down at our sensations versus actually being present within the internal space of our hands. Okay. And so in this practice, we're going to go through each part of the body and focus, or we could say inhabit, the internal space of each part. Not like we're bringing our thinking mind into each part of the body, but we're noticing the space that's already there and getting into, we could say, a feeling level of our own being. Okay? So I'm going to invite everybody to come into your feet. To just rest within the internal space of your feet and feel what that's like. Yeah, good. Just notice that there's actual space, and that space might feel like a mixture of aliveness, settledness, that you can feel in the internal space of your feet. And just feel that you are that space. You don't have anything, you don't have to do anything to be that space, but you already are that space of aliveness that's there within your feet. Okay. And as you feel this internal depth of your being, allow that to let your mind settle naturally as we're attuned to this deeper feeling level of being. Good. Okay. And attune to your quality of self within your feet. Whatever that feels like to you, if you don't think about it, you just feel what that word, self, how that resonates in you. Attune to your quality of self within your feet. Good. Okay. All right. And now come into your ankles and your lower legs, feeling that you inhabit your ankles and your lower legs. Feeling your ankles soften, letting go of any tension that you feel through your ankles and lower legs. And now attune to your quality of self within your ankles and your lower legs. Whatever that feels like to you. Good. Yeah. And now come into your knees, feeling present within both knees at the same time. Good. Good. And see if you can feel as you rest within both knees, see if you can feel a buzzing or resonance in the centers of each knee at the same time. If you can really balance your awareness between each knee. Good. And attune to your quality of self within both knees. Experiencing the stillness of your balanced mind as you rest within both knees. Good. And now come into your upper legs, up to your hip sockets. Okay, good. And attune to your quality of self in your upper legs. And now coming into your hip sockets, feeling present within both hip sockets at the same time. And just balance your awareness within the space that is within both hip sockets. Feeling a resonance in both hip sockets at the same time. Sometimes it's easier for us to be present in one versus the other. And here, we're seeing if we can rest evenly in both. Good. Attune to your quality of self within your hip sockets. Okay. And now come into your pelvis. So all the way down to your pelvic floor. Feeling present through your whole pelvis, your whole pelvic bowl, from your navel down to the base of your torso, filling in through your sides and back and front. Okay. And attuning to your quality of gender within your pelvis, whatever that feels like for you. And we're talking about this as a non-conceptual feeling. If that word doesn't have any resonance for you, you can just tune into the type of aliveness that you experience through your whole pelvis, down to your foundation. The sense of being that you experience there. Good. Okay. Good. Now, I'm going to invite everybody to feel that there's a current of energy that opens at the base of your torso. So this is at the center of the bottom of your torso, roughly in front of where the tailbone ends. Okay? That there's a point at the center of the bottom of your torso. And if we really allow that point to settle, we can start to feel like a spark of vitality. We're not looking for fireworks here, we're just looking for a very subtle, like a thread of energy that feels like it begins to move up roughly through the inner part of the spine at that depth, at least at that depth. And we know that we've got it if it starts to feel pleasant, settling and enlivening at the same time. It's not too much of an active energy or a big whoosh. It's just a nice, subtle current that feels like it begins to move up close to the inner part of the spine. Okay. Good. And so let's experience the current of energy without pulling it, just allowing it to arise through the deepest center of the pelvis that we can experience. Feeling that current of energy moving up through our pelvis. As if there's a thread or a channel that's close to the inner part of the spine. And we can feel this thread of energy moving up through our pelvis. Okay. Good. And now come into your midsection. coming into our midsection. This is from our navel up to the solar plexus area under the ribs. See if you can feel from within your midsection. Not like you're looking down on it, but that you're really present within your midsection. And that you can just rest as the internal space in your midsection. Good. Attune to your quality of power within your midsection. We're not talking about power over anything. We're not talking about dominance. We're talking about the sturdiness of a mountain. We're talking about the kind of natural power that we feel within an oak tree, right? See if you can feel something like that in your midsection. A healthy, natural kind of power that you feel naturally, in moments of confidence. Let's just see if we can feel that welling up in our midsection. Good. Okay. Good. And now feel the current of energy rising of its own accord, or you can just allow it to move up through your midsection, through the innermost depth of your midsection. Maybe you can feel a point in the innermost depth of your midsection, in your navel, for example, or deep in your solar plexus. And you can just rest your focus there to allow the current of energy to move up through that point. Good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good. And now come into your chest, feeling present through the whole internal depth of your chest. Feeling that your chest really has a back to it. And that you can feel yourself taking up space within the whole depth of your chest. And that you're just resting in your heart as you do this. Good. Okay. Good. So, I'm going to invite everybody to find your heart center, which is in the center of the chest, above the lower part of the sternum, and at the depth of the inner part of the spine, or close to there. If you know that you've got it, if you feel like you're coming home to yourself in some way, resting in this center in your chest. Yeah. Okay. And experience your quality of love within your chest. It doesn't have to be fireworks. We're just talking about some sweetness, tenderness perhaps, a kind of warm acceptance, we could say. Right? It doesn't have to go towards anything right now. This is just for you. Just tuning into your own quality of love. Good. And now experience the current of energy as you rest into your heart center. Feel the current of energy moving up through that thread deep in the core of the body and through the heart center. just resting into some of these points along that inner channel in the body, it naturally invites up this current of energy. Just by really settling there, we can feel it inviting up the current of energy without pulling on it or forcing anything. Good. Good. And now coming into your shoulders, feeling present through both shoulders at the same time. And feeling present within both shoulder sockets. If you can really refine the way that your mind or your being settles in your shoulder sockets, you might feel a resonance, like a resonance of energy, a spark of energy within both shoulder sockets. Good. Attuning to your quality of self within your shoulders and your shoulder sockets. Good. And now coming into your arms and your wrists and your hands, all the way to the tips of your fingers. And attuning to your quality of self in your arms, your wrists, and your hands. Feeling that they're your arms, that they're your hands. Good. And now coming into your neck. Feeling present through the whole cylinder of your neck. And this is an area where we tend to constrict ourselves quite a bit or lift upwards, right, which can lead to feeling anxious or be part of the feeling of anxiety. See if you can really allow yourself to settle to the base of your neck. Like you're resting down and back into the internal space of your neck, feeling the foundation of your neck at your collarbones. And feeling present through your whole neck up to your jawline. Yeah. And attuning to your quality of voice within your neck. And we can think of our quality of voice as our quality of expression. Even if we're not doing anything now to express ourselves, we can still feel this as a kind of a potency of expression, a quality of our expression that's there in the background, where we can feel it within our neck. We can feel it within our whole body, really, but we can feel it more pronounced through the whole neck. Good. And now find a point in the core of your neck. So you can find this at the base of your neck, for example, and towards the inner part of the spine. And just gently rest your focus there. Again, allowing the upward moving current of energy to move up through that subtle channel, deep in your body, and move through the core point at the base of your neck. Good. All right. Now I'm going to invite everybody to feel present through all the muscles, all the areas of your face, starting with your lower jaw. Okay, feeling present through your chin and your mouth and your lips, all the way around to the sides of your face. Feeling present through both ears. Good. Feeling present through your cheekbones, through your nose, all the way to the tip of your nose. Coming into your eyes and your eye sockets. Really allowing your eyes to just rest in their sockets. Settling with gravity. Good. And feeling present through your temples, the sides of your head, and through your whole forehead. Okay. And now see if you can find a point in the center of your forehead. This isn't between the eyebrows, but higher up, right in the center of your forehead. And see if you can hold that point steady as you breathe. Sometimes it likes to move around. Feeling that that point remains steady as you breathe. Good. Yeah. Good. And now get back behind the point so that you're settling back into the internal space of your head behind this point. Good. Really feeling the internal depth of the internal space of your head. Okay. And as you rest more towards the back of the brain, right, in the what we could call a head center that feels like it's far back, between the centers of the ears, we can see this point in the forehead from behind it. With practice, you might feel or see something like light, or something like a dark cave in your visual field internally. A dark cave that feels luminous, because of course when we close our eyes it's dark. But, okay, good. So resting back into that head center towards the back of your brain, I'm going to invite everybody to experience the upward moving current into that center. So you can feel a resonance between your head center and the center at the base of your torso. There's an energy that naturally moves up through that subtle channel and goes into your head center. Good. See if you can feel your quality of understanding through your whole brain. We could say that this is what our intelligence feels like as a feeling, not as an idea. We don't have to be intelligent about anything right now, but we can feel our intelligence as a quality of being, as part of what we are. Yeah. Yeah. And continuing to feel the upward moving current of energy move up and out through the center at the top of your head. And we can feel our breath moving. We can feel this energy moving up through us. We can also feel a deep stillness through the whole internal space of the body. Right? So now let's come into the whole body all at once, feeling present through your whole body all at once. Really also allowing the top of your head to settle, and all other areas of the body just to settle with gravity. So that again you can feel the movement of the energy, the movement of your breath, and at the same time, the stillness of this deep space within. The natural settledness of a very deep level of being. Okay? So, staying present within your body, see if you can feel like you're just directing your attention a little bit to the space around you, keeping your eyes closed, attuning to the space around you. Okay? And now see if you can feel the stillness within. Once again, see if you can feel the stillness as a space that is deeper than even the felt sense of inside or the space around you. So that it feels like there's one continuous space, that we're resting into this one continuous space that suffuses not just the internal space of the body, but the deeper we go into it, the more it feels like it's through our whole field of experience. We can feel that we're both within a vast field of stillness, and we feel that we are the stillness. We can just allow all of our faculties, our sensations, our breath, our life energies to rest within the stillness and to feel that we are the stillness. Okay? Good. Go ahead and gradually open your eyes, still staying in contact with the internal depth of your being, feeling present through your whole body. Staying in contact with this internal depth, see if you can experience the vast spaciousness that's also there, pervading your visual field. one of the ways I've heard this expressed is that we go so deep inside that the stillness inside is, it suffuses our outer perceptions. We go so deep inside that the inside also becomes or is recognized as the outside, right? We can feel one field, a unified field of fundamentally settled, at ease consciousness. See if you can perceive that, even by a few percent, right? Even just by a little bit. A kind of settled spaciousness that's beneath all the movements of life and being. If we ask ourselves, does this feel like it's inside? Does it feel like it's outside? Can't really tell, right? Outside, inside, doesn't really apply. Feels like, in some sense, it's everywhere. It's what our consciousness, our whole sense of life and being is actually made of at some deep level. See if you can feel that. All of your experiences of life and being, inside and outside, rest within this vast space that feels like it's made of consciousness, of a kind of self-luminous presence and emptiness. Not empty in a bad way, but just there's a kind of purity to it. There's no specific content to it, yet it feels innately supportive to all of our faculties, to all of our human nature. And relax. Okay. So what we've just done is a bit of a longer version. I mean, I really took the time here to let everybody, settle a bit more into each area. This is called Exercise 1 in Realization Process, or simply Advanced Attunement to Fundamental Consciousness. That's the technical name for it. How are we feeling? Okay, all right. Any questions or feedback about this specific exercise or anything that we did? Okay, all right. We've got about 15 minutes on the clock here still. So is there anything, since this is our last day together, are there any requests, anything that we'd want to do that we've done in prior classes, or any specific life issues that you'd want a kind of meditation for or anything like that?
A lot of life issues, and I'm fine.
Okay, yeah. Oh, she had said she's got a lot of life issues, but it's fine. Okay.
Life has issues, that's the way. That's
Yes.
the nature of life.
Yeah, to be alive means we have issues. Okay. So I've got one more brief exercise if we're okay with that. It should take, a few minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes. Just curious, are there any areas that you all have greater ease feeling and less ease feeling, areas that you can feel like you can contact more deeply in your body, and areas that have less ease of contact?
I can get into what I need to get into.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay. Yeah.
I think I feel ease. You know, it's just the way life is. I feel pretty at ease.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not like, just to be clear, I'm not, probing for people's traumas or anything like that. I'm just asking if there are areas where, because look, I'll just say, when I started this, and I know that you're a yoga teacher, right? And you've done body work for many, many years. So, okay. So it doesn't surprise me that you can enter your body pretty easily and feel ease in most areas, if not all. When I started this, even having had some experience with energy work, moving energy around the body and so forth, I was still pretty much a brain on a stick. So it was much easier to enter up here than, for example, in my midsection. And so that's common for a lot of people. I guess I'm just validating that and seeing if anybody had, something like that they wanted to, that, we could craft an exercise around. But if not, then no problem. I'll just pick an exercise and then we'll do one. So we can do it that way too. Okay. All right. Part of this, part of the realization process collection of exercises are exercises around what we could call a subtle dimension of the breath or energy system. And we can feel, so we can feel the physical dimension of our breath, right? But there's also a subtle, you could call it a vibratory breath. Oh, a subtle coldness, okay, yeah. Oh, it's gone now? Okay, all right. No problem. If anybody needs to bundle up. Bob, I see you've already got yours on, so it's fine. All right. So, so there's a subtle breath that we can, and to call it breath, that's almost a metaphor because it feels like a subtle kind of vibrational resonance that's breath-like, that it feels like the space within the body is breathing, okay? And so we're going to do a little exercise here to stimulate this subtle dimension of breath. We could call it subtle energy or prana, but we're just going to call it breath today, so the subtle dimension of the breath, because it integrates with the breath and energy system, okay? Good, so let's just come sit up once again. And let's start by, I'm going to invite everybody to find, to rest back into a center that feels like it's between the ears, balance between the centers of the ears and towards the back of the brain. So it's not directly in the center of the head, but further back. And yeah, when you find it, when you're resting back into it, it feels comfortable. It feels settling. Okay? Good. And just notice your breath coming in and out through your nose as you rest back into this center. Okay. And see if you can feel as if your breath begins from that center. So you're initiating the breath, your physical breath, but also a subtle kind of resonance within the head center. And for some of you, it might feel like that center in the head, it's like it's singing almost. When a violin string vibrates, there's a kind of metallic resonance to it. And that's what this breath-like, this subtle breath-like quality in the body can feel like. So see if you can feel something like that, a resonance within the head center. That also starts to feel continuous with the breathing process. We can feel this resonance down through the whole core of the body, again thinking about that channel like the violin string. And then the head center is sort of like a musical note, a particular way that this thread of energy that goes through all the chakras or energy centers in the body. The head center is just one way that that thread of energy can sing, can vibrate. Okay. Good. And now let's bring our focus into the heart center. Coming into the heart center. And see if you can feel that same resonance, like a breath-like resonance within your heart center. It doesn't even have to be a resonance that flows in and out, or a breath that flows in and out. We can feel our physical breath certainly flowing in and out. We might also feel streamings of energy going through the body. And this very fine, subtle level of this breath-like energy or resonance, it feels like it's through the whole core of our body simultaneously, or it can feel like it goes through the whole body simultaneously. See if you can feel that. It's like you might feel like your heart center in some way is singing, resonating like a violin string. Doesn't take much effort to do this. If anybody who's watching this, or anybody here, is having any trouble with this, you can feel as if your heart center, again, a point above the lower part of the sternum, inward towards the inner part of the spine, feels settled when we get back into it. You can feel that point, it's like it's saying, ah, right? It feels really settled. You can feel a nice vibration, resonance within the heart center. And then that resonance we can feel through the whole body also. That's what it develops into. So see if you can feel that, the resonance in the heart center and the movement of your breath are just one thing. Allowing your breathing to be smooth and even, and feeling the vibrational resonance going through, suffusing your whole breathing process in your whole body at once. Good. Yeah. Good. And now we're going to come into our pelvic center. And the pelvic center that we're going to find is, again, along that inner channel, that inner thread, close to the inner part of the spine. And it's about an inch or two below the navel, right? But really we're finding it at that depth, the depth of the inner part of the spine and the pelvis. And again, resting within these points, it feels like a kind of homecoming, a settling. We can feel a kind of, there's a pleasantness to it. And see if you can initiate that same resonance within your pelvic center. That we can feel this very fine mixture of vibration and stillness in that core channel of the body. And we can feel a kind of singing, like a silent singing, a resonance, a breath-like resonance. And that resonance pervades the whole body, suffuses the whole body at once. Okay, this might help our body release points of tension. This is a good exercise for letting go of stress that the body's carrying. Good. Yeah, and see if you can initiate that breath-like resonance within all three centers at the same time. So feeling your pelvic center resonate, and your heart center resonate, and your head center resonate at the same time. Good. Yeah, and feeling that resonance through your whole body, suffusing the whole internal space of your body, as well as your whole breathing process. And feeling the release of any tension that still lives in your breathing process. And that your breath and your energy system are unified. You can feel a nice vibrational quality within the breath. We can feel this breath-like resonance through our whole body. Good. Okay, and relax. And you can open your eyes when you're ready. All right. Any feedback on this exercise? What was that?
I said I've been relaxed, just sitting there.
Okay.
And doing it, so I don't feel tension anywhere. I don't feel.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. So, if we already have a mind-body system that's very well worked and settled and so forth, these exercises are just something that rarefies that settledness or that ease at greater depths, or helps us embody it to a greater depth. That's all. Yeah. So, yeah. Nobody's required to come in here with any amount of tension to to do one of these exercises.
It's always a good thing. It's sort of a tool that you have in your pocket to help you if you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Yeah.
it is a tool to help.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Bob, anything? Any questions or feedback on this exercise?
I mean, it's a moment-to-moment thing. Moment here, moment there.
When you say
It's not pervasive to me.
When you say it's not pervasive, what's the it? What is the it when you say it's moment to moment, it's not pervasive? What is the it that you're talking about?
Well, the feeling of the energy field.
Yeah, right. And I think that's normal for most. Yeah, go ahead. What's that? It's still on. Why, you want to ask a private question? Or say something? Okay, all right, we'll save it for later. Okay. We're at 12:15 now anyway, so I am going to sign off here, and I'm going to just I'm going to turn off my microphone and then hit the switch over there. So we can do some more processing here in a second. But I'll just say for anybody who's watching on the live stream or on the recording, that look, even for very sensitive people, it's normal to not have full technicolor energy perceptions all the time, right? Most people need to focus in order to do that, unless you're very, very sensitive and naturally gifted in some way, So that's normal. Anyway, okay. Listen, really appreciate everybody who's been tuning in today. You've got my contact information. I'll mention it again, which I have Brad's permission. I asked him if is that okay? And he was like, yeah, of course, give your contact information. So that's why I gave it in the beginning. It's michael@realizationconsulting.com. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, my business phone number is 617-433-7342. And we'll see. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. Okay. Thank you.